past their window. The Pentagon has been evacuated. Emergency services personnel were rushing to reports of several people trapped in the building. Most of the building's 24,000 people are outside of the building or in the center courtyard as the emergency teams try to sort out what has happened here. There was, of course, thick black smoke billowing from the scene. There's a lot of confusion. The Defense Protective Service, which is the police force here in the Pentagon, has been urging people to get out of the building and move away from the scene so they can handle the emergency situation. Again, it appears that an aircraft of some sort did hit the side of the Pentagon, the west front, which faces sort of Fort Madison National Cemetery. It's a corridor where a lot of Army offices are located. And some people were...
Jamie, I need you to stop for a second. There was just a huge explosion. You can see a billowing smoke rising. And I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower. This was the second of the two towers hit. And I cannot see behind that smoke, obviously, as you can either. The first tower in front. I think it's important as people join us, as they do in moments like this. They are coming in all the time. That there have been attacks in two American cities, New York and in Washington. The trade centers here in New York have been hit by airplanes. In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there, as you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. There are no words. You can see large pieces of the building falling. You can see the smoke rising. A portion of the side of the building now just being covered on the right side, as I look at it, covered in smoke. This is just a horrific scene and a horrific moment. The president was in Florida today as he moved back to the White House a couple hours. A short time ago, the White House itself has been evacuated on the basis of what the Secret Service says was a credible threat on the mansion itself. We believe now that we can say that the portions of both towers of the World Trade Center have collapsed, whether there were second explosions, that is to say explosions other than the planes hitting them that caused this to happen. We cannot tell you. Bill Johnson, one of our stand producers, is on the phone roads. What do you got?
I'm about a block away, and there were several people that were hanging out the windows right below where the plane crashed. But suddenly you saw the top of the building start to shake, and people began leaping from the windows in the north side of the building. You saw two people first plummet, and then a third one, and then the entire top of the building just blew up, and splinters of debris are falling on the street. Where I'm right now, there's a thick plume of smoke, and you can see crowds of people, including emergency service workers and police officers, running from the scene, screaming, and there's a school nearby where there were kids in the schoolyard. That has been emptied out, and they're running up the street now, too. The whole sort of the neighborhood, I think, several blocks up is covered by this almost powdery smoke. Little tiny pieces of building you can see just floating in the wind around it. It's almost like a huge cloud had kind of enveloped that part of lower Manhattan.